Ever turn the key or press the start button on your Toyota and nothing happened? No crank, no start, just silence, or a single click. You're in a hurry. Kids are getting late for school. Stress kicks in, and the first fix that comes to your mind is, hold that thought, because the most common answer is also the biggest mistake, and that's exactly what this video's about. Keep watching, because I'll tell you why jump starting and cranking the engine is wrong, and what Toyota owners should do instead. Mistake number 1, blaming the battery. After years in the workshop, this is the mistake I see more than any other on Toyota cars. A Camry, Corolla, RAV4, or Highlander gets towed in. The owner says, it won't start, so the battery must be dead. That sounds logical, and that's why so many people think this way. Batteries are the most visible part of the starting system, and everyone has heard that cars need batteries to start. But the truth is, in the US, roadside assistance reports show that a big portion of Toyota no-start calls are not caused by a bad battery at all. Many of those batteries still test good when we put them on a tester. What's really happening is usually much simpler. Toyota batteries often fail slowly, not suddenly. A battery can have enough power to turn on the lights and dashboard, but not enough clean power to spin the starter motor. On top of that, Toyotas are very sensitive to voltage loss. I've opened hoods and found loose battery terminals, white corrosion on the clamps, or a weak ground cable. From the driver's seat, it feels like a dead battery, so people replace it. They spend $150 to $250, drive away, and sometimes the car won't start again a week later. That's when they realize the battery was never the real problem. The mistake isn't guessing the battery, it's stopping there and not checking anything else first. Mistake number 2, jump starting your Toyota. This is another one I see constantly in the shop. The car won't start one morning, someone gives it a jump, and it fires right up. That feels like proof the battery was the issue, so people keep doing it. They jump start the car the next day, and the day after that. From their point of view, it works, so they think they're solving the problem. But as a mechanic, that's a huge red flag. Look, Toyotas are very sensitive to low voltage, especially newer models with push-button start. When the voltage drops too low, the engine computer, security system, and key recognition system can all act up. I've seen perfectly good cars come in with strange warning lights, no start issues, or even immobilizer problems just because they were jump-started over and over. Repeated jumps can also stress the alternator, because it has to work extra hard to recharge a weak or damaged battery. Drivers think they're saving money by avoiding a repair, but in reality, they're risking a much bigger one. A jump start is meant to get you going once, not become part of your daily routine. Mistake number 3, replacing parts based on guesswork. This mistake usually happens right after the car doesn't start and panic sets in. I've had many Toyota owners walk into the shop and say, I think it's the starter, or I already changed the fuel pump, but it still won't start. They're not careless, they're just guessing based on what they've heard online or from a friend. This is very common because people want a quick fix. The problem is, Toyota no-start issues follow clear patterns, and guessing ignores those patterns completely. From experience, the first thing a mechanic listens for is whether the engine cranks or doesn't crank. That one detail tells you a lot. A Toyota that doesn't crank usually has an electrical or control problem, like a battery connection, starter circuit, or brake switch issue. A Toyota that cranks but won't start usually has a fuel, spark, or sensor problem. When owners skip this step and start replacing parts, money disappears fast. I've seen people spend $800 to $1,200 on parts and still have a car that won't start because the original problem was never diagnosed. Toyotas are reliable cars, but they still follow basic engine rules. When you replace parts without understanding the symptoms, you're not fixing the car, you're just gambling with your wallet. If you made it this far, then consider liking this video, giving it a thumbs up, and subscribing to my channel. This helps me bring you more honest car advice. Mistake number 4, ignoring key, fob, and security system problems. This one catches a lot of drivers off guard, especially with newer models. The car won't start, so they assume something under the hood is broken. But in my workshop, I've seen many Toyotas come in that were mechanically perfect. The real problem was the key or the security system. Modern Toyotas use an immobilizer system, which means if the car doesn't recognize the key, it will not start, no matter how good the engine, battery, or starter is. In the US, this happens often with push-button start Toyotas like the Camry, RAV4, and Highlander. The most common cause is a weak key fob battery. These small coin batteries don't last forever, and cold weather makes them weaker. When the fob battery gets low, the car may not detect it properly. From the driver's seat, it feels like a major failure. I've seen cars towed in, owners worried about a huge repair bill, only to find out the fix was a $5 battery, or using Toyota's built-in backup start method. People think it can't be the key because the doors unlock, but starting the car needs a stronger signal than unlocking door. Ignoring this simple check leads to unnecessary towing and stress. Mistake number 5. Thinking no crank and no start are the same thing. This mistake causes more wrong repairs than almost anything else I see in the shop. A Toyota owner comes in and says, "My car won't start." But when I ask a simple question, does the engine crank or not, they're not sure. To a driver, silence and a car that won't run feel like the same problem. But to a mechanic, they are completely different, and treating them like the same thing sends people down the wrong path fast. If a Toyota doesn't crank at all, meaning the engine doesn't turn over, the issue is usually electrical or control related. That could be the battery, starter circuit, brake switch, neutral safety switch, or even the security system. But if the engine cranks and just won't fire up, the starter and battery are doing their job. At that point, the problem is usually fuel, spark, or sensor related. I've seen Toyota owners replace fuel pumps on cars that never cranked in the first place. That money was gone before the real issue was even touched. Understanding this one difference saves Toyota owners across the US hundreds of dollars every year, and it's one of the first things experienced mechanics check before doing anything else. Let's be honest, these are the most avoidable and costly mistakes Toyota owners make when their car won't start, and it's time to stop doing them. I've watched the same pattern play out in the shop for years. People panic, guess, and replace parts thinking they're fixing the problem. Instead, they end up spending more money and dealing with the same no-start issue again. Now, instead of guessing or replacing parts blindly, it's time to talk about the smart checks you should do first. The same simple checks experienced mechanics use to find the real problem fast and avoid unnecessary repairs. Check number 1. Watch and listen before touching anything. The first smart check I always do is also the easiest, and most drivers skip it completely. Before opening the hood or grabbing jumper cables, just pay attention. When you try to start your Toyota, does the engine crank or is there total silence? Do you hear a single click, rapid clicking, or nothing at all? This tells you more than most people realize. Over the years, I've learned that Toyotas talk to you if you listen closely. A rapid clicking sound usually points to low voltage or bad connection. A single click often means power is reaching the starter, but it can't do its job. Total silence usually means a control or security issue. This simple observation helps narrow the problem in seconds and prevents you from chasing the wrong repair. Check number 2. Check battery connections, not just the battery. Here's something I've learned the hard way after seeing it hundreds of times. Most Toyota no-starts that look like dead batteries are actually bad connections. Before replacing anything, pop the hood and look at the battery terminals. Are they tight? Are they clean? White or green buildup on Toyota battery terminals is extremely common in the US, especially in areas with cold winters or humid summers. A battery can be fully charged, but if the power can't flow cleanly, the car won't start. I've fixed many dead Toyotas in under 5 minutes just by tightening or cleaning the terminals. That's real-world experience talking. Check number 3. Pay attention to the key and security light. Modern Toyotas are very protective of their security systems. If the car doesn't recognize the key, it will not start. Period. One smart check I always tell people is to look at the security light on the dashboard and think about the key itself. If you're using a push-button start Toyota, try the backup method where the key fob is held close to the start button. I've seen cars towed in that had nothing wrong mechanically. The only issue was a weak key fob battery. Owners didn't think it could be the key because the doors unlocked just fine. Starting the engine needs a stronger signal. That's something experience teaches you. Check number 4. Think about what changed recently. This is one of the most powerful checks I've learned over the years, and it doesn't require any tools at all. Anytime a Toyota comes into the shop with a no-start issue, the first question I ask isn't about parts, it's simple. What changed before the problem started? Most of the time, the answer is right there. Maybe the battery was replaced a few weeks ago. Maybe the car needed jump-starting a couple of times. Or maybe it sat unused in the driveway for days or even weeks. Toyotas are extremely reliable, but they are also very sensitive to changes in voltage and connections. I've seen many Toyotas in the US fail to start because an aftermarket battery didn't fit quite right, even though it was the correct size. The terminals looked tight, but under vibration, they lost contact. I've also seen quick battery swaps where a ground cable wasn't fully tightened, leading to random no-starts that drove owners crazy. Repeated jump starts are another big one. Each jump can drop or spike voltage just enough to confuse Toyota's engine computer or security system. When you stop guessing and think back to what changed, the problem often reveals itself. This single habit can save hours of frustration and prevent replacing parts that were never bad in the first place. Check number 5. Know when to stop and diagnose properly. The smartest check of all is knowing when not to guess anymore. If your Toyota cranks but won't start, that's a different path than a no-crank condition. If basic checks don't reveal anything obvious, that's when proper diagnosis matters. Experienced mechanics don't throw parts at Toyotas because we've seen how expensive that mistake becomes. A simple scan, voltage test, or relay check can tell you far more than replacing random parts. This approach is why some Toyotas reach 500,000 miles without drama, while others become money pits for no good reason. If you have enjoyed this video, do watch the next one where I'll share 3 cheap Toyota SUVs that are absolute worth buying.